welcome to the multi-agent systems made simple with NAN. So building sophisticated AI automations that actually work for your business. There's no PhD required, and you're going to learn how to create these powerful multi-agent systems using visuals with no code tools. So what exactly is a multi-agent system? Well, pretty simply, it is where multiple autonomous AI agents work together to complete business tasks, each one specialized, each one owning a small piece of the process, and they can communicate with each other, hand off data seamlessly, and then call the specific tool that they need to get the work done. So it's almost like if you're an online business, you can hire $5, $10 VAs that require a lot of training, a lot of instructions, a lot of SOPs. This AI agent can replace that. So think of it as a well-organized team at your company, right? You wouldn't ask your accountant to handle sales calls, right? And writing email copy, right? The same principle applies for AI agents. Specialization leads to better results, cleaner code, and obviously systems that actually scale. Today, we're focused on one particular archetype that's proven incredibly effective for business automations, the orchestrator pattern. So this approach gives you the central brain that delegates work to specialized agents, each focused on doing one thing exceptionally well. So think of this as your ops manager, actually. Yeah, or your ops manager AI assistant. The orchestrator architect explained. So the orchestrator feature, which looks like this. Here's a setup guide. Here are the tools involved, parent agent, and obviously it splits it into its specified AI agent tasks. If there's the ultimate assistant over here has an issue with calendars, it'll then navigate and assign that task to the calendar agent. And the triggers are specifically with Telegram, but you can use Slack and other communication tools. So the orchestrator architect features one main agent, the parent or orchestrator, and a set of specialized sub-agents. The orchestrator's singular job is to understand user intent and route requests to the right specialist. So the orchestrator agent, right, understands the intent and then delegates tasks to specialist agents. The content agent manages the client records, and the content agent creates proposal emails and research material, and the calendar agent schedules meetings and manages availability. Right, a world-wide example of this, if you were to write a short client proposal about our AI funnels for Dexter Morgan and then create a discovery call for tonight with Michael Scott, what it would do is the orchestrator parses the intent and develops an execution plan. Right, so this is, first of all, a complex multi-step business task involving content creation, contact management, calendar scheduling, and CRM action. So if a single agent tried to handle all those responsibilities, it would just get overwhelmed and a lot of errors, and it just wouldn't happen. Instead, the orchestrator parses the intent, develops an execution plan, identifies that it needs to call the contact agent to fetch Dexter's email address, the content agent to draft a compelling proposal, the calendar agent to schedule the Michael's call, and then finally the outreach agent to send the formatted email. Pretty cool. And the beautiful result here is that the complete automation occurs, right? The orchestrator, remember the entire chain, contact information from the contact agent, the proposal content from the content agent, then handed that over to the outreach agent to execute the send. Each agent did its job perfectly. Here is the critical architecture principle, right? So the key to building effective multi-agent systems lies in proper separation of concerns. So you absolutely don't want the main orchestrator agent to juggle 20 different tools and wade through 5,000 lines of system prompts. That's a recipe for confusion, errors, and maintenance nightmares. So you want to have them essentially focused on responsibilities, concise orchestration, and explicit sub-agent prompts. Basically, you give each AI agent its roles and responsibility and have that be its box. Don't try and jam it with a generic prompt, because specialized AI agents will perform better than the generalized AI agents with generalized prompts. Model selection strategies, right? So specialization delivers another massive advantage, is that you can choose different chat models for each agent, right? And obviously control both performance and cost. For content agents, you can use Claude. Contact agent, you can use Gemini. Calendar agents, you can use GPT 4.1. Same with the orchestrator. And why this architecture win? Well, there's 6 main wins here. Is that you can have reusable components, because obviously, like, once you've built an AI agent to handle outreach, every new workflow can call it. There's no need to rebuild from scratch. You can use the orchestrator to connect existing AI workflows that you've done all into one platform. So it literally would be like Jarvis, or you can essentially have a conversation with your phone, and that AI agent will execute it by sending to your ops manager. It'll send that information to the client success manager to tell the VA to, you know what I mean? Like, once it's built, you can essentially add that Lego brick onto the existing workflow as opposed to rebuilding it over and over again. Non-agent workflows can also serve as a discrete service in your automation ecosystem. It's easy debugging. Instead of a single specialized agent and hunting down through monolithic code, you can just find which specific subsystem is incorrect and needs work on. There's clear logic in here. There's also testability, and there's memory foundation, right? So you can build persistent memory across multiple turn conversations with clear data handoffs. Now, it's all great and dandy to have this. It sounds really cool. However, there are also use cases where you should not use multiple agent systems, right? Just because you can build it doesn't mean you should always do it, right, guys? So if your task is straightforward, for example, sending a single templated email without conditions or complex decision logic, a single agent approach or direct automation is faster, cheaper, and more reliable. Whilst multiple agent orchestrators introduce additional API calls, increase latency, and obviously create more potential points of failure. So every additional agent in that chain adds complexity and execution time. So you want to use the agent when this is relevant, and you want to use simple automations when this is relevant. Like, don't be that nerd that wants to build a super cool AI agent and it ends up actually being more complicated than it has to be. Keep it simple, stupid, and then add complexity based on the scope of the work and obviously how much you're getting paid for this. Or if it's for your own internal ops, how much you get, how much you're getting paid to build this out for your client or your company. If you're an employee, if you're obviously got equity in it, then just build it because it'll save yourself and your team a lot of time. So when you're building your first orchestrator in NAN, let's build a minimal orchestrator example so that you can see exactly how this comes together. Again, we'll create the orchestrator agent and all the sub-agents involved with it as well. It's broken down into 4 steps. You want to create the orchestrator, so add an AI agent node in NAN and then open a chat window. Connect the brain, so add your open router brain, select the GPT 4.1 mini and then name it clearly. Add the workflow tools, and then configure the tools accordingly. For the sake of this presentation, I'm going to get my editor to snap the demonstration of what this build out would look like.
Morning. I'm Stephanie, an AI voice assistant from GoHighLevel University AI. I'm here to demonstrate how our voice assistant capabilities can help your business handle customer calls, book appointments, and so much more. To get started and personalize this demo for you, what's the name of your business?
Hey, it's Daily HVACs.
Great. Daily HVACs. I love it. Thanks for sharing that. Can you tell me a little about your business so I can personalize this demo? For example, what services do you typically offer and what does a typical customer call look like for you?
Yeah, we got people inquiring about our services. We do typical HVAC services. We're just very busy on the weekend and we can't really take many calls.
Perfect. That makes total sense. HVAC is definitely a busy industry, especially on weekends when people need emergency repairs or seasonal tune-ups. So you're getting a lot of inbound calls that you're missing because your team is swamped. That's exactly what we can help with. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that info. This is a basic demo designed to show how our AI handles inbound calls for your business and books appointments. I can also handle outbound calls, two-way texting, Facebook and Instagram direct messages. There would be much more customization for your specific business, but let's dive in so you can see how your voice assistant could handle calls you might normally miss or need staff to take. I'm going to start the demo now and I'll tell you when it's over. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Perfect. Here we go. Hello, and thank you for calling Daily HVACs. I'm Stephanie, Daily HVACs AI voice assistant. You can speak to me just like you would the team here. How can I help you today?
Yeah, I just want to learn more about your services.
Great question. We offer a full range of HVAC services, everything from routine maintenance and inspections to emergency repairs, system replacements, and seasonal tune-ups to keep your system running smoothly. To point you in the right direction, are you calling about a specific issue you're experiencing right now, or are you looking to schedule preventative maintenance?
Yeah, what's your price?
That's a fair question. Our pricing really depends on the specific service you need, whether it's a simple maintenance visit, a repair, or a full system replacement. Each job is a bit different. What I can do is get some details about what you're dealing with, and then one of our technicians can give you an accurate quote when we schedule your appointment. So are you experiencing an issue with your system right now, or is this...
Pretty good. Comment demo for a demo.
Of course, the template is in here. There'll be a link in the description. Here are the instructions to follow. 6 very easy instructions, right? So if you were to take the email agent as an example, this is the steps that you would have to follow, as well as simply put repeat step 1 and 3 for any additional agents that you want to add into the parent agent or the orchestrator agent. And then of course, you want to connect all necessary API credentials, so chat models, Tavily, API keys, Google accounts, Airtables, and Telegram. If this is what you use, feel free to use any other platforms that you use yourself or your team uses as well. Brilliant. I'm gonna get back into the presentation. So building the sub-agent. Now that we've talked about building the orchestrator, we need to then talk about the sub-agent involved in these, right? So we need to think of this construction in terms of the sub-workflows that the orchestrator will call. The critical component here is the trigger. It must be configured to accept executions from other workflows. Now what I mean by that is when you create a new workflow and select the trigger, when executed by another workflow, this security measure ensures only authorized workflows can call it, not external sources or manual triggers. So for data ingestions, you have options, right? So you can basically accept all data, which places input in a field called query, or defines specific input fields like name, email, project. So in production environments, defining specific fields gives you better type safety and validation. But to start, you want to use accept all so that you can expect exactly what data arrives during testing. Simply put, you want to add the AI agent, save and register, and then link it to the orchestra. Very simply, with 3 simple instructions. Now that's done, we want to then map that data between agents. So the critical step here is that if you do not map these inputs correctly, the orchestrator may send the data in fields the sub-agent doesn't expect, causing silent failures. Right. So a common error when the orchestrator sends its message in the field chat called chat-input. But this sub workflow expects queries, right? The result is that your automation breaks and you waste hours debugging that process. So use the debug view in NAN to inspect the exact incoming field names. And when you see a mismatch, go back to the execute workflow trigger and switch it to define below. And then obviously explicitly map the incoming query fields to the models expected correctly. Very simply put, you want to name your tool clearly. You want to test the integration. Then you want to check the sub-execution output. If you get errors, open the sub-execution output to see exactly what fields come through and then where they land. This will be gone over in our live demo, so don't worry about that. Preventing orchestrator overreach. Another common issue is that the orchestrator might try to compose the entire email itself and then handle the final product to the outreach tool. This creates duplication of effort and defeats the purpose of the specialization. You want to fix this with the tighter system prompt for the orchestrator, so make sure the prompt is clear, make it short, explicit, zero ambiguity. This keeps the orchestrator focused on its single responsibility. Again, I talk about specifically adding in the email nodes. Again, we've done this before. If you want to check it out, it'll be in a previous video, as well as refining output quality. So next is handling multi-turn conversations. So this will be discussed in the live demo. What I will discuss is the next step. So once you've built the subsystems and you've connected it in, you want to build a complete agent ecosystem. So at this point, you'll want to expand beyond just outreach capabilities. So you can add contact agents to the orchestrator, content agents, right, or calendar agents, for instance, as examples, which allows the orchestrator to chain operations together. So it can check contact agents, it can call contact agents, it can use the calendar agent to book appointments, and use the outreach agent to send formatted emails, even voice AI agents as well. By doing so, this allows you to have the power of traceability as well, right? So your execution logs tell you exactly which model ran, where and which tool was used, and what payloads transferred between workflows, and precisely where you need to tune prompts or map fields better. By doing so, you'll have faster debugging, cost reduction, and reliability increasing. Yeah, you don't have to redo 5,000 lines of prompts. You can essentially isolate the issue and then solve it from there. Again, very much so will be demonstrated in the demo itself, but ultimately, if you put so much work into building out all these unique AI agents, but you don't have a singular way or a singular prompt to connect them all up, it's kind of pretty useless. Like you almost want to be speaking, you almost want to have one source of truth that organizes all of these AI agents for you, and we'll be demonstrating that in the demo shortly. So thank you for watching. If you want this built up for your own business, there'll be a link in the description to see how you can work with us, as well as if you have any questions, join the community calls, or yeah, so leave a comment, leave a question. We'll be here to help you out and go from there. Thank you very much.